What the new supply may never find out. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So by now you know who the new supply is. Not the exact person, but you know what the new supply is. What the new supply is a person who is one of three people. They are either a toxic person themselves, they are a recycled person that the narcissist is just going through again, or they are a clean slate, most likely like you were, a person who was naive, who was trusting, a high level of empathy, giving to a fault, people pleaser perhaps, wore your heart on your sleeve, and you were believing that everybody on the planet thought the same way you thought. But what the new supply, the person that is now in the relationship with the narcissist, what they don't understand, and they may never get this, you really need to understand this, they may never figure out what you figured out, which is A, what narcissism is, B, that the person they're with is trying to destroy their life, and that C, there's nothing they can do about it. Now, I'm getting a little animated here with my tone and the way I'm looking at you through the camera, because this is serious. This is your life. This isn't some documentary. This isn't some sitcom. This isn't some thriller that you put into the movies and you watch for a couple hours. You now know that your life was turned upside down. It was derailed. It was sidetracked. The trajectory of your life totally took a 180. And when you were trapped in that narcissistic abusive cycle, you became subservient to the narcissist. You became the unpaid helper. You were the walking apology. You were the sounding board. You were the cook, the cleaner, the errand person. You did everything, and you went above and beyond the call of duty, and there wasn't one more thing you could have done that would have improved the relationship, because the relationship that you were a part of, which is what the new supply will eventually figure out, at least that's my hope, is that it would never be enough. You see, the narcissist wants to love bomb people. They want to capture them and trap them in the fantasy of what will never be. They want to future fake people into thinking they're going to grow old together with them, or have children or grandchildren, or have the white picket fence, or travel the world together holding hands and staring into each other's eyes, essentially like a Walt Disney-esque movie. Well, if you grew up during the Walt Disney era, which is the 1970s, maybe a little bit earlier you could say, and yes, Disney still comes out with movies, I get it, but they're a little different than they were years ago, then you were believing that there was a happy ever after, or happily ever after, and that there was a white knight in shining armor to come rescue you, or there was a prince or a princess or a damsel in distress, or that there would always be a good storybook ending. You now know that those were fairy tales. They were an idea or a notion drummed up by Walt Disney himself and his team. And I think that those movies back then served their purpose. But for those of us who consumed them religiously before the cable TV days, we look forward to watching those movies. Even the commercials, we soaked them up. We didn't want to miss a second. Well, that helped us, unfortunately, think of a mindset that there was a soulmate out there for us. There was the love of our life. There was the yin to our yang. There was the prince or the princess. Somebody was going to complete us, and we too would live happily ever after. Well, we now know that those are just movies. They're ideas. They're cartoons, animation, or whatever you want to call them. They all have their value, but back then, in the 70s, I would say, maybe the 80s, maybe even earlier, this is all we had to hold on to. We now have the age of the internet, the smartphone. We're all connected super fast these days. And so now we can make our own decisions. We don't live in fairy tale-esque land. We now have been in the narcissistic abusive cycle. We now know what the narcissist did to us. We also know that that's going to happen with the new supply. And we also know that the new supply may never, and I mean never, and most likely they never will figure out what you figured out. You need to understand that there are many different types of people on this planet. At one end of the spectrum is the true empath. That's who I am. That's probably who you are. And for those of you people out there who think that empathy or an empath doesn't exist, you really, and I mean really, need to play this video multiple times, and you need to ask yourself a question. Why do you not think empathy or empaths exist? Is it because you're not one? Ding, ding, ding. At the other end of the spectrum, there is the narcissist, or perhaps even worse types of people that have many challenges and concerns, although they blend into society and they don't want people to know that they aren't able to regulate themselves, or that they have some nasty, and I mean nasty, thoughts, and they actually act out on these thoughts. In between, there's everybody else. Those people that aren't the apex predators and that aren't the true empath. They're the people that are in the middle. And maybe that's you. I can't tell you who you are or what your mindset is. What I can tell you is that you figured something out against all odds, against insurmountable odds. You were trapped in a mental prison. You had an invisible leash around your neck. You had weights and balls and chains around your ankles and around your calves and around your hands. You couldn't move without the narcissist telling you which way to move. You couldn't breathe without them telling you to breathe. You were walking on eggshells. You were being disrespected. You weren't being treated properly. You were being taken for granted. And every single day it was like Groundhog Day because you were trapped in a cycle and it just kept going around and around and around. And you were the person, the fuel, if you will, the supply that was providing everything for the narcissist. Now, did the narcissist have all these magnificent and sensational, and those two adjectives don't have to be positive, I hope you're following me, ideas? The narcissist usually is very exciting and they can be very charming and they want to go here, do that. They're on the go. What about this? Ooh, I can't make that one. What about these three things? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We have to get a present. Oh, we're late. I can't believe I have the wrong dress. What about that tie? What about this? Are we going to sit in the front? Where about the back? Hey, my smartphone died. I need 2 more batteries. This is what they do. That's why the narcissist is always on the go. That's why the narcissist can't sit still. That's why the narcissist has multiple smartphones, and that's why the narcissist has a new source of supply. Because when you were in the relationship with them, just like myself, we became, to them, to the narcissist, we became dull, we became boring, we became commonplace. And truth be told, we were so burned out, we didn't have much left in the tank to give the toxic parasite, yes, the narcissist. Because the narcissistic abusive cycle goes around in the circle, with the love bomb / euphoric stage being the beginning part. Second part is the longest part of the relationship, which is the devaluation stage. That's when you can do no right. And that's when you're trying to crawl your way back into the love bomb stage, and it never happens. The ending of the relationship is the third part, and the fourth part, at times for certain people, is a Hoover. Never accept a Hoover. Become unhooverable. Get off the radar of the narcissist. Go no contact. Block that person. Delete them, remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If not now, when? So why you figured it out, meaning what narcissism is, it's because you wouldn't quit. You were resilient like you still are. You were determined like you still are. You were focused like you still are. You didn't know what had happened to you, and you couldn't figure out how that person that you were in the relationship with kept getting worse and worse and worse. And you kept giving more and more and more, and nothing ever got fixed, because that relationship, as I've shared for so many videos, it was akin to death by 1,000 paper cuts. You were the person experiencing the paper cuts. The narcissist was administering them. They were trying to break you, trying to break the relationship, trying to break your health, trying to break your hobbies, trying to break your bank account, trying to break anything about you that they could. And truth be told, they broke an awful lot when they were in that relationship. Everything, a lot of things about you. However, you cracked the code. You figured it out just like I did. That's why you are a very, and I mean very, unique, special, independent, and strong person. Not everybody's cut from the same cloth as you are. You need to recognize that you are different than most people. I'll go back to the empathy part. You, maybe your whole life, you didn't even know that you were an empath or that you had a high level of empathy. I can assure you one thing. Now you know what that word means, or you're learning, and now you understand that very few people, beginning with your immediate family to most of your relationships, not even counting friendships or business relationships or neighbors, etc. Many people don't have one tenth of what you have when it comes to the emotional intelligence or empathy level. Now, is everybody out there a narcissist? Anything but. Is everybody out there an empath? Absolutely not. We are a rare breed. There are many narcissists. There are many toxic people. There are fewer empaths. There are fewer true empathetic people. And there are very few people that have a very deep level or understanding or bandwidth of emotional intelligence and energy. Now, you're one of those people because you made it this far in the video, and I'm certainly one of those people, and I've known that most of my life. What I didn't know, and you most likely didn't either, is that narcissism exists. So just like the yin and yang, the white and the black circles that go around and they complete each other, Just like the sun rises and the sun sets, just like there's a sun and a moon, just like there's a day and a night, just like there's good and evil. Well, now you know there's narcissism and there's empathy. Now, does the narcissist exclusively target the empath? No. But when they find an empath like you or like myself, it is Thanksgiving Day, 365 days a year, 366 including leap year, and they will do whatever they can do to keep that person trapped, stuck on the hamster wheel of abuse, spinning around in circles, being bled out, experiencing the death by 1,000 paper cuts, giving more and more and more, because the narcissist realizes that you were and or still are a rare person, and they don't run across people like you every day. Now, I've pumped up the empath a lot during this video. The reason I've done it is because A, you don't hear it enough, B, no one else on YouTube is doing this, and C, I am one, so I can say it. There are so many other people on creating content in various different platforms, discussing on A, B, and C with the narcissist, X, Y, Z, etc. I get it. Make sure that the content you're consuming is offering you value, and make sure it is coming from a reliable and trusted source. Having said all those things, what the new supply may never figure out, it's what you know. And what you know is that you were in a relationship that was heading to one place, and yes, that was Destructionsville. And yes, there was not one more thing you could have done to improve that relationship. And that yes, the narcissist was cheating, they were lying, they were stealing, they were wearing a mask, they were manipulating, they were playing the long game. Sometimes they were playing a midterm game or a short-term game. They would claim that they didn't have cell phone service when they were cheating on you in a cabin in the middle of the woods. They would claim that they didn't have cell phone service when they were at a seminar, wink, wink, for a weekend, and they were cheating on you with your neighbor. They were claiming that they didn't have cell phone service when they were stuck in traffic, even though they have 3 smartphones, a laptop, a portable computer, a tablet, and more. And they were still talking to other people on dating apps when they were dragging it out with you. You see, the narcissist doesn't care about anybody but themselves. You didn't know that back then because you thought most people thought the way you thought. That's what I thought. Now, having said that, fast forwarding to the new supply. The new supply was a foreign term to you before you figured out what narcissism was. It was foreign to me as well. So was gaslighting, so was the smear campaign and projection and triangulation, my least favorite thing that these creatures administer. But the new supply is one thing we all have in common, along with many things. But for this video, it's the new supply. You at one point were the new supply, as was I. Who you don't want to be on this planet called Earth is the new supply. That's the last person you want to be. Now, you may be thinking to yourself right now, no, actually, it was great. I loved it. We did all these things. We were jet sailing, and we were staying in the fanciest hotels, and we would lock the door and have intimacy for 15 hours in a row, and we would drink all the champagne from all the champagne flutes and all the best Well, that was a love bomb. You must remember that. That wasn't reality. It all faded away. It all washed away. Picture, if you will, a beach with the ocean on the other, the desert, the ocean beach with the sand. Well, if you created something in the sand, maybe a sand castle, and then the tide came in, it washed the castle away. There's your narcissistic relationship in a nutshell. As I shared with you earlier, it's a cycle. Love bomb, devaluation, ending, Hoover, boom, 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 if that's not 4. But back then, when you were in the relationship, you didn't know what you know now. So now, as I'm sharing with the new supply, we all were the new supply at one point. Being the new supply is not who you want to be, like I shared. And the new supply most likely doesn't know that they are a supply source. They most likely think that they just found gold. What they found was pyrite or fool's gold, which is worthless. And they don't know that. So this new supply, let's say they are a clean slate or even a recycled person, if they're an apex predator like the narcissist or worse, well, then the narcissist is going to get what's coming to them. Side note, pro tip, I don't wish ill will upon anybody. I'm not going to start now, but the narcissist will get what's coming to them when the time is right, and it won't come at the hands of a human being. It'll come at the hands of a power greater than us. But the new supply, whoever they are, they now are bending over backwards to do whatever they can do to stay in that love bomb stage. They're doing whatever they can do to hold on to an unhold-onable relationship. No, I know that's not an English word, but I just made it up, faux pas. They are also doing their best to appease the narcissist because by now, the new supply most likely has seen a couple cracks in the armor, maybe a couple mini rage fits, maybe a couple doors being slammed, maybe a couple too many times that they had to pay for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, maybe a couple too many times that the narcissist, yes, the person you're considering, would ask them for money and never pay them back. Or maybe the narcissist was now, with the new supply, maybe the narcissist is now at that stage where they're disappearing in the bathroom for 10, 20, 30, 45 minutes because they already have their hooks sunken into the new supply. The new supply has no idea, and the narcissist is getting ready to insert a new supply. See how it works? It all goes in tandem. It all is a big circle. It's a big loop. It's not a mystery. It's a fact of life. It's one of the hidden secrets on this planet called Earth. We used to think that there were 8 wonders or 7 wonders of the world, whatever they are. I know one of them is the Great Wall of China. I will tell you another one right now that's been discovered. It's narcissism. We weren't supposed to figure it out. We were supposed to stay stuck. We were supposed to be subservient and trapped in that zombie-like, trance-like state, but we broke free. No matter how we cut it, we are out of the relationship. Once we are out, we need to stay out. But see, it's not that easy for the new supply. The new supply by now has invested time, money, maybe love, empathy, energy. By now, the new supply has probably introduced the narcissist to certain people that they know. Family members, perhaps, friends, acquaintances, colleagues, who knows? Maybe the trainer at the gym, wink, wink, I don't know who it is. But see, the new supply is getting a little too comfortable with the narcissist, and they are trying their best to hold on to something that you can't hold on to. And they're trying their best to stay in that little wheelhouse called the love bomb stage, or I call it the euphoric stage, because not everybody falls in love with the narcissist. But what the new supply doesn't understand is that the harder they try to appease or please the narcissist, the more the narcissist will punish them. The more the new supply gives to the narcissist, the more the narcissist will want. The more the narcissist wants, the less the new supply has to give. The less the new supply has to give, the more they're going to have to figure out on how to get whatever it is that the narcissist wants. And usually, not always, but usually, what is it? That's right, it's money. So what does the narcissist love more than money? Ding, ding, ding. They love your money more than money. But now they love the new supply's money more than your money because you, at least this is my hope, have gone no contact and you block them and you're out and you're healing or you've healed. The new supply has no idea what's taking place. Their bank account is beginning to become dwindling. Their clarity in their mind is all but disappearing. Their friendships are being broken. The smear campaign is either well underway or it will be. The new supply's health could be taking a hit. I can assure you one thing, whatever the new supply was focusing on or concentrating on before they met the narcissist, you can throw all that out the window, and that may even include their job. Because the new supply is now in a place that you don't ever want to go back to in a million years. Yes, the trauma bond, or the devaluation stage, or the narcissistic fog. All 3 of those are unique to themselves, yet interchangeable, and they all equal one word. What is that word? That's right, it's toxicity, which oozes out of the pores of the narcissist. It oozes out of the mouth of the narcissist. It oozes out of the pupils of the narcissist when they're swelled up with supply like big black beach balls. It oozes out of every pore in the narcissist's tiny, tiny existence. Because the narcissist needs supply. Remember, the narcissist can't regulate themselves, and they have a bottomless pit that must be filled with what? That's right, with supply. Who is the new supply? Get the common denominator? It's supply and supply. That's who you were for quite a long period of time. Now you're out. When you're out, you stay out. That's why you have to heal. But the new supply may not be nearly as fortunate as you. Now again, I need to share this. If your relationship ended recently, well, maybe you maybe haven't healed properly, or you still have things to do. Most likely you do. I was there. I believe in you way more than you'll ever know. You need to believe in yourself the way I believe in you. And wherever you are on the journey, whether it's day 1 or whether today's the first day you put your first foot on the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference, or anywhere in between, no matter where you are on the journey, I've been there. I put myself back together against all odds during a pandemic, left for dead. Now, if you think that I'm being dramatic, you really need to go back and watch some of my earlier videos, specifically the first one and the playlist, which is called Glad You Made It. That video was created March 31st, 2021, 5 months and 2 days after the discard took place. That will tell you all you need to know if you watch those playlists, and I will create another one in a month and a couple weeks. But having said all these things, what the new supply may never understand, or what the new supply may never know, it's what you know. It's that toxicity has 2 legs. It's that the narcissist is a user. It's that you can't fix these relationships. It's that the narcissist knows what they're doing. It's that the narcissist will sneer, grimace, mock, smirk, laugh, chuckle, and make fun of anybody, and I mean anybody, who lifts a finger to help them out. No good deed goes unpunished when you're in relationships with toxic people. They flat out don't care. And the narcissist also knows, and you need to remember this, that every relationship they encounter or become a part of, they all have an expiration date, every single one of them. The new supply has no idea. The new supply thinks they're probably going to live happily ever after. Or maybe it's a business relationship and they think the business is going to go great and they're going to become billionaires. I don't know what the new supply is thinking. Not my business. What I can tell you is it won't go the way the new supply wants it to go, because it didn't go the way you thought it would go. And it definitely didn't go the way I thought it would go, because you can never predict the tiny little pea brain of the narcissist. Just when you think you know what they're going to do, they do something different. Because the narcissist is not loyal to anybody. They don't care about anybody. They have no integrity. All they want to do is punish people for possessing what they don't have themselves, which is empathy. You got it. And time and money, and way more than that. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And understand a few things. The new supply, they may never figure out what you know. Truth be told, they probably won't. Do I wish that the new supply could escape from the narcissist? Well, I wish narcissism in general would be eradicated from the planet. Not the people, but the behavior and the disorder and the lack mindset. But that's not going to happen today. Maybe it'll happen down the road. I can't tell you, but most likely not in my lifetime. But in the meantime, what we, the collective consciousness, the people that were in the narcissistic abusive cycle and made it out, what we need to do is maintain our boundaries. What we need to do is do our part. What we need to do is trust our instincts, trust our intuition, and know one thing. There's nothing we can do to help out anybody on this planet when they are trapped in a narcissistic relationship, specifically if they are in the trauma bond. You were in it. You knew what it took to get yourself out of it. I was in it, and I know exactly what it took for me to get out of it. When you're caught up in that zombie-like trance-like state, you really, really better hope and pray that you're strong enough to make it out in one piece. But when you're in it, all you can see is the fog. All you can see is that one person. All you can see is the abuse. All you can see is about 1 inch in front of you. You can't see the forest through the trees, or whatever that expression is. You certainly can't see any light at the end of the tunnel. And all you do is you stay stuck in that zombie-like trance-like state, trying to appease the abuser, which is the narcissist. And that's why the new supply may never figure it out. And I actually believe that the new supply sources, unfortunately, they have it way more challenging than we did. Now, you may say, well, why would you say that? The education's out there, the wisdom's out there. It's all true. It doesn't make it any easier to break the cycle. It still comes down to one person. And that person was me, and that person was you. And now that person will be the new supply. Are they strong enough to do it? I can't tell you. I hope to God they are, but that's their journey. And all I can do is continue to pay it forward each and every day and help out people that don't even know that they need help, and to help people break the trauma bond, break the cycle, get out of the narcissistic fog, and escape the devaluation stage. That's why I, each and every day, create videos to pay it forward and to help out and to share my wisdom and my education on the topic, and way more things to help out those people that don't even know that they need help. So that's the video. I love you all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And it's a day video. I've been really busy with one-on-one sessions. If anyone again is interested in a one-on-one session with me directly, contact me at narcdailyvideos@gmail.com. That is narcdailyvideos@gmail.com. And we can arrange something, or a schedule session. But having said that, day videos are so much better than night videos. Night videos are great, but it doesn't have the same ambiance. And good news, 1 month from yesterday, I believe, daylight savings time will be back, so we get 1 more hour of sun where I am located, and maybe where you are located too. So winter is almost over. You know what you need to do. You need to maintain your boundaries and understand something. The new supply, that's who you were at one point. That's who I was. We are not supply. We are beautiful, bright, shining lights like that sun, which is hiding right back there. And we need to understand that we are the priority. We come first, second, and third. I love you all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.